Ambassador, it was particularly important for me to want to interview you, talk to you here, because I know that the Holloway family is so grateful, and so many other Americans, grateful to Peru, because you are sending the Dutch national, Joran Van Der Sloot, to the United States to answer to that indictment. And we're so grateful that Peru has made this happen so swiftly and easily.
Yes, Greta, this is part of our judiciary cooperation with the U.S. We cooperate in many areas, and this is one that is very important. I know he needs to face justice here in Alabama, so we are delivering him to the U.S. authorities.
Well, he'll get a fair trial here. He'll get a lawyer appointed. He will stand trial, and then he will return to Peru to continue his sentence for murdering Stephanie Flores, a Peruvian national.
That's correct.
And you know, it's this relationship that Peru and the United States has, though, it's not particularly new. It goes back to 1827, I think, that we've been allies. Is that right?
Yes, we are going to soon celebrate 200 years of bilateral relations. So in these years, cooperation between our countries has been very important in several areas: economic, tourist, politically. Also, environmental now is very important for us.
You know, it's sort of interesting. With COVID, there's been sort of a slowdown in global tourism, but now it's picking up. You've got a lot to offer in Peru in terms of you've got one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Exactly. Peru is a very important tourist destination for Americans who receive every year around 600,000 Americans. And now I think we can improve these numbers because now we are offering not only Cusco, Machu Picchu, you know, also in the north, very important, the Lord of Sea Palm tombs, and also the Nazca Lines, the Amazon, several areas that you can visit in Peru.
And even Hollywood is finally getting wise to what Peru offers.
Exactly. Today we are having the avant premiere of the Transformer movie, and it is almost completely filmed in Peru. We are going to see Cusco and Machu Picchu. This sacred city of the Incas is going to be part of the areas you will see in the movie. It's very important for us. It will promote also tourists to our country.
It seems in reading about Peru that Peru is on the rise. I mean, not that it was in a bad place, but you've had some protests, you've had some change in governments, but now you look at it, I mean, the trade is picking up, trade with the United States is picking up, you've got Hollywood, you've got tourism, you know, things, the relationship with Peru is getting a greater spotlight.
Absolutely. Peru is back. We had these political problems you mentioned at the end of last year. Now situation is calm, and now, as you mentioned also, the economy is doing well. We are not growing as much as we would like to, but we are growing almost at the top in Latin America. Our currency is the most stable in the region, and the economic risk in Peru is the lowest in the region. So those are important signs that the economy is doing well, and investment can come to Peru as always.
You know, and in preparing for this interview, I talked to some people who represent Peru here in the United States. I had no idea that you're the greatest exporter of blueberries, and I thought, why blueberries? And it was pointed out to me that you have the reverse climate because you're below the the equator, so that when we have summer here or growing season here, you don't, and vice versa.
Yeah, a few decades ago, Peru didn't produce blueberries. Now we are the #1 in the world, and the U.S. one of our main markets. We also are #1 in asparagus. So Peru is a privileged country for exports like this, agricultural. So I think we will continue like that. The avocados from Peru also are very important in this market. So I think several areas that Peruvians are contributing to the U.S. We are the 3rd providers of fruit in the U.S.
One of the things that the U.S. is always concerned about is China, and China in our hemisphere. And I'm curious whether China has a footprint in Peru. Is there in the infrastructure or trade, or what is the relationship with China?
We are an open economy, so we have investment from Asian countries, particularly China, European, and also the U.S. China is an important partner of Peru in terms of investment in mining, infrastructure, as well as the European countries. So we are encouraging other regions, and particularly the U.S. has been a long-standing investor in Peru, to continue doing so. There are much opportunities in infrastructure, telecommunications, and others. And natural resources. Peru is #2 exporter of copper, which is very important for the new electricity and new cars that are sustainable. I think is important, copper, and investing in Peru, I think, is an important possibility for U.S. companies.
Is that why you were invited or asked, or whatever the right word is, to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange?
One of the reasons was that we were celebrating 50 years of the Association of Peruvian Exporters. But it's a very interesting day because we were with the Minister of Economy and Finance, the President of the Central Bank, and all the exporters to this market. And it was a day of celebration. We presented Peru as a very open economy that has offering a lot of possibility for investors, particularly to the U.S.
All right. You've also been traveling a bit. You were in Paris, and it had to do with plastics. And over the course of my career, I've done specials on plastic. I know about the giant plastic patch, for instance, in the Pacific Ocean that's bigger than the state of Texas. What are you doing about plastics, and why is that so important to you?
I have two hats. One is, as you know, ambassador of Peru to the U.S., but I also am chairing an international negotiation to end plastic pollution. So this is in the framework of the United Nations. So I was in Paris for a week chairing this important negotiation. We are aiming to have at the end of the 2024 a text of a legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution. You know, plastic is good for our life, but also it presents some challenges in terms of pollution of the ocean, and we need to do something to protect our environment.
Well, you're a very distinguished diplomat and have held a lot of posts in Peru. And I know you've just started this post here in Washington, D.C. as the ambassador to the United States, but you've also been the UN ambassador. Which is a better job?
Both are extremely interesting. One in the multilateral area, probably the most challenging is the UN. And bilaterally, for us, the U.S., one of the probably the most important partner of Peru. So I think both are rewarding, but also challenging. So I'm very pleased to be here.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank you for helping the United States so much with extraditing Joran Van Der Sloot. And I assume the people of Peru are standing behind your government on this?
Absolutely. We are ready to collaborate with the U.S. in this area and others, as we have been collaborating for the past 200 years.
Ambassador, nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.